This Soonerscoop.com video is streaming in crystal clear 4K resolution on YouTube thanks to Enjoy Vision in Oklahoma City. From the big plays to life's everyday moments, see it all in sharp focus with LASIK at Enjoy Vision. Enjoy Vision. This is where Sooner Scoop LASIK.
Hello and welcome to the family business. I'm Joe Castiglione Jr. Got Isaac Stoops all the way over to the left. We got a legend in the house. Also Isaac's father, Coach Bob Stoops. Coach, thanks for coming on.
Hey, thank you, Joe. Isaac, thanks for having me. I didn't know I'd have to wait to the last week of the regular season for me to get on the family business. I thought I was part of the family.
I'll tell you, we had to wait for the season finale. You know, things are going well, and so we had to bring you back in now. And so Oklahoma obviously hasn't done very well in November. It kind of reminds me, I was about to say, of the November in 2015. Baker's first year, we had that trek of it was Baylor, TCU, and then Oklahoma State to finish out the year to win the Big 12 title. And it kind of reminds me of that November a little bit.
I think you got to give this November a little more credit.
I was about to say.
Let's be honest.
Reminds.
Okay, it's a little bit different what they're doing right now. So I love it, all for them. Coach Venables, the players, the staff are really playing well and playing in a different way than we're used to winning, but that's okay, as long as you're winning.
Yeah, there's beauty in winning, is what they said. I know you've, of course, are still around the program a lot, and you've been out to practice often. Was there any telltale signs that, maybe an outbreak of, possibility of a playoff berth from what you could see in practice from early on?
Well, I don't know that it's fair to – when you go to practice, as you two would know, you're there to improve every day. Hone your game plan for the coming week. So I think what's been really good, in my opinion, watching some practices, watching their approach every week going on the field, is be the best we can be this week. Don't ignore all the rest of the talk. All that matters is the job you do every day and getting yourself ready to play, and then play at a high level when we're out on that field on Saturdays, and we're doing that.
Do you get any flashbacks of some of the, former great players you had, watching this roster, in practice and, in the games?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Isaiah, I guess I would, Satania, I would say flashes of, dare I say it, Marquise Brown with that speed. And Marquise is the fastest guy I had in my 18 years. And Isaiah would probably give him a run for his money, it looks like. But in the end, there's so many. I had so many great players. It's hard to say to put anyone in those categories. I tell you what, I'm excited to watch for the future. Those two 18-year-old tackles, left and right tackle, traveling through the entire SEC with two true freshman offensive linemen, and they're more than holding their own. So. And I know we've talked. I don't think old linemen get talked about enough unless we can't run the ball. Then everybody wants to talk about them.
They don't. But at the same time, I would say when Oklahoma was able to sign Fasusi and Foje, there was a lot of buzz, and they're like, okay,
well, they've lived up to the buzz, and believe me, I mean, these last three games, the way they've played is amazing for two 18-year-olds. And for anybody, let alone two 18-year-olds.
Yeah, especially if you consider the defensive lines that they have to go against.
Exactly.
I mean, Tennessee and then Alabama, and then Mizzou has one of the best defensive lines in the SEC as well. And so, especially those edge guys. But it's been impressive. You're going to face a talented LSU team this week, and so it's not any different. But
our redshirt freshman offensive guard.
Yeah, Eddie Pierre-Louis.
I have a hard time saying his name, but
well, I think they've had a lot of practice going against good D lines when it was good on good here in Norman.
There's a lot of times when we were really good, which we had a lot of years we thought the hardest part was going against each other sometimes, as opposed to some of the games.
That's like when fall camp, it goes back and forth. It's like punch this. Yeah. This side of the ball punches one day, the other side of the ball punches the other day. And
when you first got to Florida, Coach Spurrier said that when he had the best offense in the country every year, and you first year being a new DC at Florida after a scrimmage, he said, "Don't worry, Bobby, it's the best offense you're gonna play all year."
He went up and down the field on me. I was demoralized walking in the locker room after the scrimmage, and he could tell I was down. He put his arm around me. He says, "Hey, Bobby," he said, "don't worry about it." He goes, keep doing what you're doing. He goes, you ain't going to see anybody like us. And we didn't. There was nobody like them. And in the way he ran his offense. And anyhow, it worked out. We end up winning the national championship that year. And but anyhow, yeah, a lot of times your biggest battles are right there on your own practice field.
It's been really cool to see because it's kind of like a peak, but it's not to say that there's a valley after it, but there's been kind of accumulation of time to build this roster to get to this place at this time. And so it's been really cool to see that there's a lot of young talent, and then there's, of course, a lot of leadership in that senior and upper class. Do you think Coach Venables had a little bit bigger challenge than most thought when he stepped in to rebuild this roster, to especially get it to SEC standards?
Oh, I don't think there's any question he did, and he and his staff have done it in 4 years. I guarantee, I get there's more to come, especially offensively. But when you look at our special teams and our skill guys, Miller and Tate Sandell kicking the ball, and then defensively, everyone talks in the SEC. You got to have the defensive line, or defensive front seven. We may have the best. In 4 years, we've developed that, or Coach Venables and his staff has. And the secondary's more than holding their own. We got another freshman out there that's more than, I'm terrible.
Gilroy,
number four, who's playing fantastic. So anyway, Coach Venables and their group have built this to be, and I believe as time goes, long-standing.
Hand up, I'll tell you, it's even more impressive with how much depth that they have, especially on the defensive side of the ball in this era of transfer portal, because those second and third strings transfer off to go to other places, but the way their ability to convince them to come here to grow and build on it, I mean, it's just extremely impressive.
They're playing 20, 22 guys every game throughout the game, and it doesn't really matter how dynamic each situation is. They're throwing them in there, and everybody knows what they're doing.
Right.
So again, a credit to the culture, I think, that Brent has established in his coaches.
Yeah, guys want to stay and play defense for him. What were your thoughts when you heard that he was going to be calling the defense alongside being the head coach? Because you never coordinated while you were the head coach, but you've been a coordinator, so you can attest to how difficult.
No, I thought it was the right thing to do for Brent to call the defense. He's too good at it not to. And I would have, when I arrived here at Oklahoma, called the defense had Mike Stoops and Brent Venables not come with me, because they were running my exact defense that I was running at Florida. They were running it at Kansas State, and they were with me at Kansas State. All our terminology was the same. Brent was part of it as a player and then as a young grad assistant before I left. So I had the opportunity that they had my defense. So I could be a part, in meetings, and I like this, I don't like that, and we were all part of it, but Brent hadn't been afforded that luxury, and I love it. The fact that he's calling it, he's incredible at doing it. He has a great feel for it, and it's funny. I listened to some of the calls. Some of the calls go all the way back to our Kansas State days, so I know I'll be at practice and I know what they're going to do. So anyway, it's obviously been really successful and great for the program and for Brent.
I'm surprised they haven't given you, like they do in the backup or the off-duty QB in the NFL, they give you the little earpiece over in the press box.
I'm going to ask
so
for an earpiece for this game. Then I know. Well, of course, I'd only know what's coming on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, it might tell you a little bit about the offense. And it's been, like you said, this team has found ways to win in ways that OU teams have not traditionally won. I mean, of course, the early 2000s defensive-laden teams, but the offense has had its limitations, struggled to push the football downfield. But the defense, of course, is doing more than their own. So how do you balance that in season when you're trying to get one side of the ball to, you're about improving the whole team, but you're trying to balance this team's identity while you're coaching this team?
Well, I think they've been really smart at not trying to force the offense into big plays downfield. And then you risk interceptions. The longer you go downfield, the longer you hold the ball. So you risk sacks or strip sacks. And so to me, they've been really smart at not forcing it, take what's there. The defense and special teams have been so good it allows you to be a little more conservative, and that's okay. Everyone loves the 40-point games. Well, they didn't love it when we won 40-35. Now we're winning a little bit differently. So there's got to be something to complain about, and that's okay. That's what fans are supposed to do and want it to improve. I believe the offense will keep improving. Again, be smart on how we try and get it downfield. And, for the reasons I just said, count on your special teams the way they're playing and your defense to win for you. I mean, we get the ball near midfield, it's almost guaranteed a field goal.
Yep.
So, and the offense has, I think they don't get enough credit for staying on the field a little more than people think. They pick up a few first downs, now a couple first downs. Now you punt the ball's inside the 20. And with the defense that can stop them, maybe 3 and out, you're going to get the ball right back at midfield. So playing smart, I think, in these last 3 games, they haven't been enough. Maybe they have given enough credit for, because that's what's won for them.
And not to make excuses or anything, but they've done it with a running back room that's been banged up. I mean, It's no secret that Blaylock and X have been banged up, and so you saw that first
young
half.
O-line, like we just mentioned, and our receivers are catching their stride, I feel like.
Exactly. And so I feel there's more coming, and hopefully here, this week and moving on, that'll happen. We get a little more offense, a few more plays, a few more big plays, staying on the field a little longer. It all adds up. Take care of the football, and that's where they've been really great.
Mateer's mentioned, that this has been an adjustment for him. What have you seen in the past that can make it difficult, or like seen the adjustment for OU quarterbacks adjusting to the spotlight of being a blue blood quarterback like at Oklahoma?
Yeah, and I think it's been an adjustment probably because he knows what we just talked about. The special teams and the defense are so good. Don't try and force the ball into some hole, or don't try and force the ball downfield, or wait for the receiver to come open and risk a sack. They're staying ahead of the change. Take what's there. Don't be greedy, and understand what's been winning for you. And I think it's different for him as well, that he hasn't won this way before.
Yeah.
But if you really pay attention to it, it's okay, long as you win, and that's what he's doing.
Yeah, the record looks good, but I guess at Washington State they were running and gunning.
Well, and that's sometimes at different places, that's what you have to do. But that's not, in the situation he's in now, that's why he's had to adjust. This is different. And, and the stakes are different.
Adapt or die. That's what I was. I mean, it's the name of the game. And kind of the name of the game is the teams that have have the ability to build a front office and go out and get players. And Oklahoma made their GM hire, their new GM hire, Jim Nagy, in the past offseason. How well do you think this Oklahoma front office is set up for the future, especially with this on-field product starting to
It seems to be great. The little I know about it, I'm not there. I've run into Jim Nagy several times, think he's awesome. I love the setup from the way it looks and from what I can see. I said this many times before we hired a general manager. I would have embraced a general manager. Like, in today's world and operating with all this money, and somebody that has done this and had this experience, get in my room and let me listen to you. And I still have an influence on it as a head coach, but someone that's lived this world, I think it's nothing but positive to have different voices in the room on how you feel you should manage that money.
Having coached the Renegades the past few years, and that's obviously professional, did that give you a new perspective for the first time having a front office? Like how much easier that helped you out? And then obviously, like, that's another person evaluating your roster, but you get final say.
But we weren't dealing with different sums of money.
True.
It was all the same. Now, I did count on my general manager, Rick Mueller, did an incredible job for us, that he and the coordinators basically picked their roster, he's watched all these guys a lot more than I have, so I trusted him, and he did a great job of picking that. So that part of it is why you want you can count on that GM. And then I still believe in this world now, managing all the money and what your resources are and how to maximize those resources is a big deal. And if you haven't done it ever before, I would always want somebody that's done it sitting next to me.
it helps a little bit too to, I would consider, because, I was a student coach under you, played under you, you had a great ability to delegate when needed and pass it on, provide an oversight, provide insight, but not necessarily micromanage or take control when you needed to. And so it's probably helped BV a little bit to pass some stuff off on the evaluation piece. Of course, they're signing off these recruits, but to pass it off, and so he can take the reins more of some other head coaching duties.
Like the defense. And
yeah, exactly.
And it seems to be really working. And but yes, you're right. If I got 30 players to evaluate, somebody that's done this their whole life and done it well, cut it to 10. And then I got time to do 10. I don't have time for 30. So I think that's what I'm talking about, that I would have welcomed a guy like Jim Nagy sitting next to me going through this, and so far it has allowed Brent to do an incredible job calling the defense. And we're recruiting well.
Yeah.
The recruits continue to come in, and I think that they've done an incredible job recruiting over these 4 years.
Go ahead,
Coach. I got to ask you. I mean, have you got any calls about Florida this year? Did Florida give you a call? I mean,
no, I would never say whether anyone's called or not, and or any particular school. But I've had a couple inquiries of whether I would not Florida, but if I'd be interested in going back. But I'm in a good space.
You don't have to say where, but when
you're asking me to.
Yeah, say when.
No, he said when's the last time.
I was trying to pump your show up a little bit.
No, it's just every time a coaching search shows up, you're always somewhere on that list. Nick Saban is too now. He has to deal with what you've been doing.
And people have to answer to a constituency or to their board of regents or to their president, and they want to know, have you asked them?
Yeah, have you at least asked them? Yeah.
Because they don't want to hear, I don't think he wants to. They want to know.
No is a no, not a no until it's a no.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we're going to ask, like, with the new, day and age in college football, Lane Kiffin has kind of been in this, coaching fiasco between LSU, Florida, Ole Miss, and like, kind of it's created this conundrum. Like, how do you balance focusing on the rest of your season, like hopefully on a national championship run, while also having to see what's down the stretch?
Yeah, there's no good way.
Yeah.
Today's world, the timing of everything doesn't allow it to. So it isn't Lane Kiffin's fault. It's the structure in the way we're living today's world. Players can transfer at any, go in the portal right now. The season's not even over. People got there's a signing date. There's, other players may want to transfer, but if you get this coach in, maybe they'll stay.
Yeah.
The timing of it's just a mess. And so, again, not his fault. I don't think any coach can handle this properly. So forget about it. It's going to happen. And if he does move on somewhere, I don't know if he is or not, but if he does, it's going to be messy, and that's just the way it is. And he didn't make the rules.
Yeah.
And everyone's, well, then he shouldn't go. Well, then he has to the rest of his life stay in one place. I mean, half his
just
team
because the schedule's bad?
half his team may walk out the door after the last game. So in the end, in today's world, a coach, there's no way for it not to be messy, and that's just how it's going to be.
It's also kind of unintentionally or intentionally led to this nasty spree of mid-season firings this year.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw more mid-season firings earlier in the year than I feel like at any point.
And here's why. Say a guy that's retired like myself, or say Jimbo Fisher. If someone called me and they had not fired a guy, if they already have a coach, my answer is going to be, even my agent, I'm not talking to you because you have a coach. That wouldn't be fair to that sitting coach to be behind his back talking about his job. So point being, if someone wants to get on board and start, their search, you have to let the guy go. And the other part is, I've been a coach. I've never been fired. But if you knew you were finished with me and you knew that and there was no changing it, I'd want you to tell me and I'll be done.
Yeah.
And go ahead, get on with the search, give the reins to one of the coordinators or somebody to be the acting head coach for these last half a season or whatever it is. But I don't want to be sitting there going to work every day knowing you don't want me anymore. So there's two sides of it.
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, and we've heard. I feel like that's what one of the biggest things that needs to be talked about with the people in power is the scheduling. Like you said, how big of a mess it is, and instead we're talking about expanding the playoff. Do you think is it 24 that they've been talking about? 2014.
24 is floated out there, but I think the most likely is like a
16.
16 team playoff.
I think 12's too many. I
do too.
I think it should be 8.
Okay.
Last year, the first 4 games were not very good, and teams got routed a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 4 teams that had buys all lost.
Yep.
So,
It's like, what do we?
so my point is, I don't know that I'd want to buy this early.
Yeah.
Because you're in a rhythm of playing at
Yeah.
the end of the year. You don't want all of a sudden be the only one or one of 4 teams not playing.
Not only that, but the teams that get a home playoff game, what that means for the university and the community.
Yeah.
I know as a football coach, you're not necessarily thinking that, but the admin's like, hey, we'll take that 5 seed
December
any day of the week
19th
and play the group of 5 team.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So we can stay in rhythm. We can win a home game, and then we could go in the next week with a little bit of, like I said.
No, that's how it worked last year. I think all the favored teams won.
Yeah, so it's a mess. And then wanted to ask you one more time. Now that you have a little bit more time to spend time on Twitter or X, what has surprised
Not
you the
much.
most? What has surprised you the most about Twitter?
What do you hate the most?
I don't care about it one way or the other. Hey, you guys see it. I'll be asleep for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'm like, I should retweet something.
Oh, your DNA.
I'm terrible about making my own, and believe me, I never, no matter what I ever put out, do I ever look at a comment. So I just here and there will throw something out, and I don't know why.
It's
probably best.
I love it that way better because
Yeah.
I love when people are running their own Twitter.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more authentic.
It's a little more fun. Yeah.
That's also a good mantra to live by. Never look at the comments. So, Coach, thanks for coming on. Happy Thanksgiving.
Joe, Isaac, appreciate you guys. The family business, part of the family right
Yeah,
here.
exactly. If you weren't already.
Yeah.
For everybody watching, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. That helps us help you. And we'll catch you next week with another edition of The Family Business. Remember to keep in the family.